Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Everyone knows that one person who turns a backyard cookout into their personal kingdom. In this story, the so-called grill master laid down the rules and ended up getting dethroned in the most delicious way possible. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Neighborhood grill tyrant got smoked by my ribs and patience. So last summer, I'm at this neighborhood barbecue. Sun blazing, tunes bumping, everyone's got a drink in hand, the whole vibe is chill. It's a potluck situation, and I'm hyped to show off my smoked ribs recipe. Slow cooked, fall off the bone, the kind that makes you a backyard legend. Enter this guy. Let's call him Karen. He earns it. Self-appointed grill master, king of the coals, tongs held like a scepter. No one touches the grill but me, he barks. One dish at a time. Mine first, and then we'll see. I try to reason. Dude, it's a big grill. Can't I just slide my ribs on the side? They take hours. Nope, one at a time. My burgers are priority. Fine, your throne, your rules. Let's play. Round one, I let him strut. Burgers sizzling, smug grin in place while my ribs sit marinating in their cooler, silently mocking me. People eat, he gloats, I bide my time. Finally, he wipes his hands and says, "All right, your turn." Innocent nod. I haul out my setup, ribs, a foil tray of applewood chips, and a plan. Grill's still hot, so I slap the ribs on low and slow. Nestle the wood chips in the corner, smoke starts curling up, thick, sweet, irresistible. Karen's over at the picnic table, mid-bite, when the aroma hits. People start drifting over. Whoa, what's that smell? I'm basting ribs, casual as hell, just my recipe. Takes a while, hope you don't mind. Suddenly, everyone's circling me, drooling. His burgers, forgotten. He stomps over, "You're smoking out my spot." One dish at a time, right? I'm just following your rule. Grin, flip a rib, smoke billowing now, a fragrant fog of rebellion. He tries to muscle in. "Let me cook something else." "Nah, my turn's not done. You said one at a time." I drag it out, checking ribs, adjusting chips, chatting up neighbors about patience and cooking. An hour later, his reign is toast. People are raving about the ribs, piling plates high, while his sad burger platter sits cold and lonely. By sundown, Karen's sulking by the cooler, tongs abandoned, while I'm handing out rib tips like a smoky Santa. Host claps me on the back. "Best barbecue ever. Keep that grill next time." You got it. Karen thought he'd gatekeep the grill and flex his burger supremacy. Instead, I smoked him out with patience and a killer recipe. Petty? Absolutely. Tasty? Like victory with a side of barbecue sauce. One dish at a time turned into a delicious applewood-scented filibuster that smoked his authority right off the patio. The moment the crowd drifted toward the aroma instead of his sad burger plateau, the tongs lost their crown. And our second story. Built my first car at 15, just to keep it out of my mom's hands. I'm the youngest of 3 kids. My 2 older brothers and I grew up with a mother who, as I later realized, was a sociopath. She manipulated everyone, played the victim, and controlled us whenever she could. My stepfather was no better, and together they bled my wonderful but naive grandparents dry. My grandparents built a second house on their property for my mom and stepdad. They paid both households' bills, bought our clothes, fed us, and basically raised us while my mom and stepdad worked just enough to blow money and cry poor. My grandma even got us up every morning for school and put us on the bus. Meanwhile, my mom stole from my brothers, taking their paychecks and even getting her name on their car titles so she could threaten to take them away whenever she wanted. By the time I was 12, I'd already discovered my mom had lied about my last name and my father. That's how deep the manipulation ran. But as I got older, I started looking for ways to break free. At 14, I got a job waiting tables. I wasn't old enough, but I was paid cash, and my grandparents helped me get back and forth. I saved as much as I could, hiding money from my mom whenever possible. By the time I was 15, I had around $2,000 saved, hoping to buy a car when I got my permit. One night at my best friend's house, I admitted I didn't know how to get a car without my mom stealing it like she had from my brothers. My friend's dad overheard and surprised me with an idea. He had a motor and transmission sitting in his garage and knew of a junkyard car that would fit them. He offered to sell me the parts cheap and help me find the rest. The next weekend, he took me to a junkyard where we found a beautiful 1979 Chevy Monte Carlo shell, no motor, no transmission, but otherwise in perfect shape. Metallic brown, no dents, paint intact. I bought it for $736 total after picking up axles, rims, tires, and all necessary parts. Importantly, he made sure my name went on the bill of sale. When I finally told my grandpa, I braced for anger. Instead, he grinned. "The boys will be busy tomorrow," he said. Over the next 3 weeks, he and my brothers rebuilt that car. By the end, I had my first working vehicle. When I passed my permit test, I nervously went to our family's insurance agent. I dreaded having to be under my mother's policy, but the agent told me something incredible. Because the state licensed me to drive, I could have my own policy, even as a minor. It'd be expensive, but it was possible. I jumped on it. I paid 6 months in full, walking out with my own insurance card in my own name. Nobody, not even my mother, could cancel it except me. All I had left to do was transfer the title. I asked my grandmother if she'd go with me so her name could be on it instead of my mother's. She agreed, but the day of the appointment, she let slip that my mom had insisted on going instead. My heart sank. I knew my mother's game. She wanted her name on that title so she could take my car whenever she wanted. I vowed right then I wouldn't let that happen. At the counter, I handed the paperwork over. The woman behind the desk started spelling my name to confirm it. Immediately, my mother interrupted. "She's a minor. My name needs to be on the title." The clerk frowned, checked the bill of sale, and shook her head. "Her name's the only one listed, so only her name goes on the title." My mom exploded. "But she's a minor!" The clerk didn't flinch. "Doesn't matter. She can own a car in her own name." Then she turned to me directly. "Do you want your mother's name on your title?" I looked my mom in the eye and said, "No." The clerk smiled and continued the paperwork, deliberately ignoring my mom's protests. I could have hugged her. While we waited, my mom hissed at me, threatening to cancel my insurance. I calmly told her I had my own. She accused me of lying all the way to the insurance office, practically speeding there in her rage. She stormed inside and confronted the insurance agent. "My daughter says she has her own policy." The agent nodded. "Yes, she does." "She's a minor. That's against the law." "No, ma'am. The law requires her to carry insurance if she drives. She paid in full for 6 months. Only she can cancel it." My mom screamed, demanded again, and was told the same thing. She had no power. For the first time in my life, I had something she couldn't take away. My car, my insurance, my independence, all mine. She fumed the entire drive home, even hitting me in frustration, but none of it mattered. I'd finally beaten her. When we got back, I went straight to my grandmother and kissed her on the cheek. "It went well, Grandma," I told her, keeping the details to myself. That car saved my life. With it, I was able to leave just months later. For the first time, I was free. You have great grandparents, and everyone should have a mechanic grandpa like you did. A 1979 Monte Carlo is an awesome first car, especially how you got it. What a great story. And our last story. He stole my electricity, I kept his charger, then he vandalized my car. I live in a quiet suburban neighborhood, mostly families and retirees. Nothing dramatic ever really happens here, until my neighbor Tom decided his shiny Tesla was my problem. It started with small clues. My electric bill had gone up, even though I wasn't doing anything different. Then one night around 2 a.m., I looked out my window and saw a long black cord stretching from my outdoor electric box to his Tesla, parked halfway into his driveway. He was stealing my power. I didn't say anything that night. I just unplugged it, rolled up the charger, and tossed it in my garage. If he wanted it back, he could come ask me like an adult and pay me back for the electricity he'd already stolen. Instead, 2 days later, there was a knock at my door. I opened it to see Tom and 2 police officers. "He stole my Tesla charger," he declared. He looked proud of himself, like he thought I was about to get hauled away in handcuffs. One of the officers asked me, "Sir, do you know anything about a Tesla charger being removed from his property?" I shrugged. Nope, I don't know anything about any charger. Haven't seen one. The cops looked at me, then at him. Do you have any proof? They asked him. He didn't. No video, no witnesses, nothing. Just his word against mine. The officers sighed. Well, without proof, there's nothing we can do. Then they left. My neighbor stood there fuming, jaw clenched, but he couldn't do a thing. I closed the door in his face, and his charger stayed right where it was, locked up in my garage. But he wasn't done. About a week later, I walked out to head to work and found all 4 of my tires slashed, perfect deep cuts, brand new rubber ruined. My stomach dropped, but I didn't panic, because unlike him, I'd learned from the first round and installed cameras. I checked the footage. There he was, clear as day, creeping around my driveway at 3 a.m. with a knife in hand. He slashed one tire, then another, then all 4. That was his mistake. I went straight to the police station and handed them the video. The detective barely had to watch 30 seconds before he said, "Yep, that's enough." 2 days later, my neighbor was back at my door, but this time he looked a whole lot different. No smug grin, no chest puffed out, just a nervous, sweating mess. "Look," he started, "I'll pay for the tires, okay? Just drop this with the cops. We don't need to make it worse." I leaned against the door frame. "Oh, we're way past that. You should have thought about that before you decided to vandalize my car." "I made a mistake, all right?" he snapped. "Just name a price." I smiled. "The price is whatever the court decides." Then I shut the door in his face. In the end, he had to cover my new tires, towing, and labor, but the real punishment was the record. He got slapped with a misdemeanor for criminal mischief, and every time he drives that Tesla, he knows the neighborhood remembers. And as for the charger, it's still in my garage collecting dust. I don't even own an electric car, but I'll never get rid of it. It's my trophy. A reminder that the guy who thought he was too clever to get caught ended up paying dearly. Now whenever I see him outside, he won't even look in my direction. He keeps his car charged at proper stations like a responsible adult, and I sleep a little better knowing the cameras are always rolling. So yeah, he stole my electricity, tried to play the victim, vandalized my car, and still lost. That charger's mine now. F you, Tom. Wild how he tried to flip theft into victimhood. Sneaks a cord into your outlet at 2 a.m., then shows up with cops like you stole his hardware? Keeping the charger as a dusty little trophy is perfect symbolism. Every time he sees his power bill or that misdemeanor on paper, he's reminded who actually paid the price. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.